from North Carolina, and I graduated about a year and a half ago with a biology degree. Now I'm a member of the aquaculture team here, so I work with the fish that we're going to see in a little while. I also give these tours about once a day, and sometimes I work up at that tour desk where you guys signed up. So that's what I do here. If we could just go around real quick, maybe introduce yourselves, say where you guys are from. We'll start over here with you.
Awesome.
So I also forgot to mention to you guys, but I'm sure they told you up at how we handle our plants, how we interact with them. So every morning those entomologists go through the greenhouses and they scout for pests, which means they just look at all the plants and document the ones they find there. We also disinfect our tools between working on different plants, so we don't want to carry a pest or a virus maybe from one plant to the next if it's on those tools. So we just clean them really well between those different plants to help with spreading problems. We also remove the lower leaves of a lot of things. That's because that leafy moist area is really where they like to grab on. So if we remove that, it prevents a lot of our pest problems. And that's also a really good thing to do at home. Just get things up off the ground, we'll get rid of a lot of bugs. So you'll see some examples of this. We also have 2 greenhouses planted completely in sand. Have you guys taken the boat ride and seen them? Okay. These guys can be a big problem in there. Those nematodes are a little tiny type of worm, and this is what they do to the roots of our plants. So they create these galls that keep them from taking up all the water that the plant needs. And on the bottom of our shoes, there's about 10,000 nematodes per square inch. So they're just covered. We pick them up on the sidewalks, in the dirt, everywhere. So we wear these cute little booties over top of our shoes when we need to get in the sand to work with those plants. So we're really careful about this one because just a few of these nematodes in the sand could spread through that whole greenhouse and affect all those plants in there. So that's our cultural control method. The last picture here is part of biological control. So that's the 3rd method, and that's the one that we like to use most often. So the first thing we do when we find a pest is we release the beneficial insect that's going to get rid of that pest. So we use a lot of good bugs to get rid of the bad ones. And that's also what you'll see along the wall in these cages here. So that first case that's closest to the door, those boxes have leaf miner fly, which is a pest. That fly just lays its eggs right into the middle of the leaf, and then its larva, its baby, develops on the inside, just chews through it and pretty much destroys the plant. But the second case here, we've got some parasitoid wasps, and those are the beneficial insects. So what they do is find that leaf miner larva inside the leaf, and they lay their egg right into it. So they are a parasite. They kind of live on it from the inside. Then we move those lima beans over to the funnel systems over here, and that larva with the wasp inside it just kind of wiggles out of the bottom of the leaf, so we can collect them through the funnels in those little cups down there. And I've got some to pass around to show you guys. These are some. This one's sort of like a teenager, just a juvenile going around eating up some aphids for us. And of course the aphids are the pests we're trying to get rid of here. Same ladybug, it's just developing into the adult, which you guys probably recognize. We like ladybugs a lot. One reason is because they eat the aphids whole. So you just kind of shove the whole thing in their mouth. We don't have to worry about anything. And we release about 5,000 every 2 weeks here. So those just come from an insect supplier. We order them pretty often. And there are actually about 4,000 different species of ladybugs. So there's tons of different kinds. Most of them are beneficial though. They're good bugs. This is a close-up of one of those aphids. It just inserts its feeding tube right into the leaf to suck out all those good nutrients inside there. So that's how that one's a pest. And this is another really good beneficial insect. It's called a lacewing. They also get rid of aphids for us and some other pests, which you'll see in a second. And they lay their eggs kind of up off the leaf like that. Thank you. And this is a baby lacewing hatching. Once that one develops a little bit, it'll go around and find some pest larvae to get up off the leaf, so that's what you see that one doing. And then this one is attacking an aphid. So it just inserts its mouthpiece right into the aphid and sucks out all that stuff in there, So its little mouth is kind of like a straw. And these raisin-looking things on the bottom are just the empty aphid bodies. So, they also, thank you, they also get rid of whiteflies for us. If you guys have ever grown tomatoes at home, or any plants, whiteflies can be a pretty big problem on tomatoes. But this one's just prying up some whitefly larvae found on the leaf. And then the last video is just what we talked about along the wall here. So just see it closer up for you guys. So this is the leaf miner fly, the pest. And a leaf is kind of like a sandwich. So it has two outer layers and a juicy middle layer. So this fly is just drilling a hole into that middle layer so it can lay its egg in there. It'll be great conditions because there's so many good nutrients inside that leaf. Now you see it laying its egg right into that hole it just drilled. While it does that, it's also laying down a pheromone or a smell that's just telling other insects that it's laid its egg here. So it's saying, don't come close, don't bother my egg. And sealing up that hole with its mouth. So this is its larva developing right on that center layer of the leaf. It's just going to chew through it and eat up that plant. And you'll see a close-up of its mouth. It's called a leaf miner because this little mouth looks just like a pickaxe. It's going to be mining all these tunnels through the leaf. And then this is a time-lapse video. It's shot over 8 days, and it's about 10 or 12 of those leaf miner larvae. You'll see pretty much destroying it in just a little bit over a week. And you can see some of that damage on these lima beans over here too, the little trails on the leaves. So that's just 8 days. But this is our good guy. So this is the one you saw in the second vial that we passed around. This is called the parasitoid wasp, or the opius wasp. What this one does is detects the pheromone that the leaf miner laid down before. So it knows where it laid its egg, and then just follows the little trail back and finds the larva. And once it finds it, it just lays its egg right into it. So it is a parasite, like I told you before. It eats on it from the inside. And this one also lays down a smell that just tells other beneficial insects that it's already taking care of this leaf miner. So no need to worry about this one anymore. So the larva with the wasp inside it just kind of drops out of the bottom of the leaf. The wasp on the inside is developing and, of course, destroying that larva that it's living in. Eventually it'll just hatch right out of there, and hopefully it'll go and find other leaf miners to get rid of for us. So this process, this system here, is how we raise some of our parasitoid wasps that we end up releasing in our greenhouses eventually.
Does each wasp only lay one egg?
Yes, sure does. I've got some ladybugs for you guys to help me release today, so I'm going to grab those real quick, okay? Projects going on here. They're mostly just for plant improvement, like pest resistance, disease resistance, higher yield for crop plants, just kind of better.
Look at this. Brian.
Alright, I'm going to get you guys to gather up all the way down here. This first greenhouse is called our creative greenhouse because there's lots of creative ideas here, lots of moving systems and things like that. Throughout all of our greenhouses, though, we're growing using hydroponics, and all that means is that we're not using soil. So you won't see any soil in any of our greenhouses. We do have some different types of media that we grow the plants in, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. But these Brussels sprouts over here are growing in no media at all. So if you see when they come out of the conveyor right here, that their roots are just hanging right in the air. So that type of system we call aeroponics. And we just give the plants what they need. So they're getting sunlight, those metal bars are for support. And then all on the walls of that conveyor, there are spray nozzles that just spray water and nutrients right onto the roots as they pass through there. So that's how they're being fed. So that system I called aeroponics. And another example of that are these columns stuck here. That's because those columns are hollow. So it's basically a big PVC pipe, and the roots are just hanging right on the inside. So that's all that's in them, is the roots of the plant. And then there's spray stations like this one. Pepper's about to pass under. When the columns pass underneath it, they're detected by a magnet, and that triggers them to spray nutrients combines hydroponics and aquaculture. So in the fish tank at the bottom, we've got some tilapia, and right now there's cilantro planted on the top. So what we do is feed the fish, and then we pump the water from that fish tank to the top of the system. And the nutrients in that fish water feed the plants as it flows back down. The plants even do just a tiny bit of filtering of the water before it goes back into the fish tank. So it is a circulating system. It's one of our newest systems here actually, and it's still kind of in the research phase. So usually when we harvest the plants from that, they're sent over to our animals. The animals pick up for them to eat, since they're still doing a lot of testing on it now. So mostly goes to elephants. I like to go, which are called vertigrows. They're becoming really popular for commercial growing recently, and they were developed by strawberry farmers right here in Florida. And you guys can see they're great space savers. So it's just about a square foot of area, and each of these holds 36 plants. So in the space you could grow 1 or 2 plants, you're growing 36. And they're being fed from these black tubes at the top. So there's a drip emitter in the top pot and also about halfway down. And these pots have holes in the bottom, so nutrients will just trickle all the way down. So even the bottom plants get fed. And this is a really easy thing to do at home if you guys are interested in that. So we have a few little home systems set up around the corner. We can go talk about those next. Okay, so first I'm going to tell you about our media real quick. I told you we don't use any soil, but rock wool is one of the things that we use most often. This is made of volcanic rock, and they just heat it and spin it in a big vat, kind of like cotton candy, and they just mold it when it's hot. So this is what we start all of our plants in. So we'll just drop seeds in those holes on top there, and then moisten this up, and the seeds germinate right in here. Then we can break them apart to separate the plants. We also use a lot of perlite, which is the stuff you'll see in a bag of potting mix. White stuff looks like styrofoam. It's really good for holding in moisture for the plants. So that's what we use a lot in our vertigrow systems over here. So I'll pass this pot around if you guys want to see. Notice the holes in the bottom for drainage. So what we do is fill those to the top with perlite. And then the plants in their rock wool cubes we just stick right in the corners so we can stack them up high. We also use some coconut core for growing bags for our cucumbers, which we'll see right in our next greenhouse. This is just the inner husk of the coconut ground up pretty fine. It's also really good for holding in moisture, so we'll talk more about this later. And then over here are some of those home systems I was telling you about. So this one is our home vertigrow. So you can see you can mix and match the plants however you like. Have a whole salad on this one. In the tub at the bottom down there is our nutrient solution. And then this solar panel is powering a pump that's pumping the nutrients right to the top where they're trickling out and then back down through the hole. So that's another circulating system. A lot of people get scared off by the solar panel or even the pump, but this is something you could water with a watering can a couple times a day. So it really isn't easy to do. That white one with those trays over there is called nutrient film technique. That's how we grow most of our lettuce here. So I'm going to tell you guys more about that one in our next greenhouse. Thank you. And then this one's also really fun and easy. We filled this fish tank with our nutrient solution, and that stick in there is just a bubbler to aerate the roots. And this is a raft system, which means that this styrofoam is just floating right on the top. So the roots, these ones are still pretty young, but they'll grow all the way down into the nutrients down there. If you do try it at home, you just want to make sure you keep the sides covered pretty well. That's because algae can be a big problem if too much sunlight gets in there. So you want the light on the top, just not the sides. And if you are interested, I've got a little handout for you. If you guys want to take one of these and pass them around, that tells you how you can set up this tank system at home. Also in the back of that sheet at the very bottom are some really good resources for more information or even some of these supplies if you're interested.